The Philly Show is presented by Fox One. Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, Todd Zolecki. It's the Philly Show. It's Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. Game 5 of the World Series is Wednesday night. Dodgers, Blue Jays tied 2-2. Ooh, some fun ball games. Let's talk a little World Series. We're going to do a little Phillies offseason primer in a little bit, but we got to talk about this World Series. It's time for the Parks first pitch. First pitch is brought to us exclusively by our partners at Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. I asked you guys the other day, or today and yesterday, did you guys stay up and watch the 18 inning for? I got to be honest, I fell asleep a little early. I missed the end of it, but you guys almost stayed up. One of you stayed up until the very end. One of you almost made it to the very end. Ruben, I'm
a little older than Jim, I think, so I couldn't quite make it. I was dozing in and out. I think I missed the very last inning, just before maybe an inning or so before Freddie Freeman went yah-yah to end that game, which is amazing. He continues to – I mean, he had some opportunities earlier too, because they were walking Ohtani, and Ohtani had 9 straight times on base or whatever the heck that number was. And I mean, it really was amazing. It is a little bit of a indictment on people being able to make contact and just putting the ball in play, because it looked like every single player was trying to hit a home run to end the game. And that's why it took 18 innings or whatever the hell it was to get it done.
It was the same thing in that 2018 game, Dodgers Red Sox at Dodger Stadium. 18 innings. What Evaldi was great. He pitched a whole bunch of innings, and it just they kept rolling over the innings because everybody was swinging from their shoes trying to end it, and then finally it ended. But I actually went the distance. I stayed up for that whole game, which is surprising. And it was a riveting game. And now when it gets into extra innings and it just starts rolling, you can't give up on it. It's like, I can't leave now. The party's just getting started. And at 10 past 1 a.m., Tommy Edmonds, it's the 13th inning. Edmonds hits that ball to right center for a double. And as they're showing the replay, the ball's coming toward the batter. My cable goes out. Apparently, so it just shut down. I'm like going crazy. I don't want to wake up, my wife, and I don't know what to do. So I checked another TV. It's out. And finally, I just had to listen to the remainder of the game, the final 5 innings or 6 innings, maybe on 4 innings, 5 innings on radio. I had found it on the ESPN app, and I had to listen to the rest of the game on radio. I was so mad. And then when I told my wife about it, the cable came back in the morning, and I told my wife about it. She said she thinks she got a notice that they were taking it down for regular maintenance. Like, who the hell does that in game, 4 of the World Series or whatever? Oh, it was so.
There was a time that would never have happened. If it was the Super Bowl or one of the playoff games for the Super Bowl, it'd be different. They would never do it, right?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they probably thought it was 10 past 1 in the morning. Everything's over except the infomercials, right? So, right. But it was a fantastic game. And then game 4, fantastic game as well. Those Blue Jays are tough, man. Yeah. They're tough. They battle, and they came back on weary legs and took out Ohtani and got into that bullpen, and the Dodgers didn't hit. It's been a hell of a series. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, you talked about the Phillies had some resilience during the course of the last several years, bouncing back after having some tough games at tough times. Obviously, not as much in the playoffs, but you take a look at what this Toronto Blue Jays team does. It's got a really interesting mix of veteran guys and some superstars, and like Vladdy, not a ton of them. But they have a mix of veterans and young players. I love this Clement kid, man.
Oh, dude, yeah.
What about this kid that just he oozes confidence? He's a baseball player, man. He's a really great third base defender. And he just does a lot of things well, puts the ball in play. He's playing with a lot of confidence. He's the guy you want at the plate or to make a play when times are tough. And he's a younger player. I don't know how old he is, 25, 26 years old. He might be a little older than that.
He's played on a couple teams.
Been on a few teams, but this man plays. He plays the game. He's a baseball player. I like baseball players.
He's a hockey player too. Growing up, they're tough.
Yep.
Oh yeah, eh?
Pretty cool. He's a tough guy. Probably drinks a nice soda.
We've been talking a lot about Freddie Freeman on this show the past couple weeks, in more ways than one. Not just his baseball play, but he looked.
He's looking elite.
He's looking elite. He's looking elite. Ruben, you stole my punchline. No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, Freddie Freeman, absolutely amazing. I was looking at this too. Ohtani didn't really do much at the plate in Game 4, but the Phillies held Shohei Ohtani. He was 1 for 18, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts in the NLDS against the Phillies. They did a number on him. A lot of the left-handed pitching that he faced really shoved. Before Game 4, I didn't update this today. I looked at all of his other games in the postseason, Reds, Brewers, Blue Jays. He was batting .400 with a 1.743 OPS in the postseason, minus the Phillies. 14 hits, 11 extra base hits, 2 doubles, a triple, and 8 home runs. So just wanted to mention that because the Phillies man,
they handled him really, really well, man, and they neutralized him in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So that was doesn't really mean anything for Phillies fans. It's not much of a comforting take no solace in that. But a great series. I predicted the Dodgers to win in 6, so that's still alive.
Well, on the table, we're out.
Yeah,
Jimmy and Ruben are out
in 5.
Yeah, we're out. But anyway. Game 5 Wednesday night.
Gamble, guys, that's why I don't gamble.
I don't gamble either, but I'll read that first pitch ad, and that was First Pitch, presented exclusively by our partners at Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. ParksCasino.com. You must be 21, and if you have a gambling problem, unlike Ruben, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This episode is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. These businesses are what make the neighborhood the neighborhood. You and I are both in Orlando, and I see Square all the time at those awesome farmers markets around town.
And a lot of restaurants in general just have this to where they have the little thing plugged into their phone and you stick your card in it and wham, bam, we're out. It's cool. It's a way for local businesses to make money and make it easy on not only them, but also on me, the consumer, because Lord knows I'm not making or selling anything.
No, and it's a tap or on your phone. You double click.
You can even insert your chip if you want to swipe it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's changed the game. You can go to square.com/go/foul to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy that you did. Again, square.com/go/FOUL to learn more. Square. See you in the neighborhood. Get after it, FT fam.
We are back. The Philly Show is presented by Fox One. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscriptions.
Yes.
In the very near future. We're getting close. We're inching our way up there. So, and also if you're listening to us on Apple, Spotify, if you just stumbled upon us, hit subscribe as well. And of course, you can always go to the Philly Show shop.com to pick up your Philly Show swag to help support the show. We appreciate
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming. That's right, guys. We have before we get into some of the Phillies offseason stuff, we have another giveaway from our friends at Shibe Vintage Sports. Take a look at this. Cool. Phillies prize pack. It is a Phillies cap with that cool logo on the side, little powder blue action. America's Pastime Phillies shirt, and also, this is cool, a Jimmy Rollins autographed baseball card. So if you're watching us on YouTube, scan the QR code on your screen. If you're listening to us, go to shibesports.com/TPS to enter. And remember, if you enter, you are entered for the end of the season giveaway, a year's supply of shirts from Shibe Vintage Sports. And The reason we're doing this prize pack is because in this week in Philly baseball history, October 29th, 2008. Jim Rubin, where were you that night?
Oh, I know where I was.
Game
Oh, I
5
know
of
where
the
I
World Series. Game 5 of the World Series. The
I know
Phillies
where I
win the World
was.
Series.
It was Game 5, part two,
two.
right? Yeah.
I was in my booth. I was in my booth.
It stopped raining finally.
Our booth, right
It
next
stopped?
to Pat Gillick.
It was like the baseball season's a marathon, but that night was a sprint.
That was fun. I mean, it was such a fun night. You know, Jeff Jenkins comes out. Everybody's talking for like a day and a half of who's going to pinch hit in that situation. Was it going to be Jenkins or Dobbs? Right. That was kind of the talk. Was it going to be Jenkins or Dobbs?
Yeah, I think so.
Jenkins comes out, smashes a double,
Big double.
beats the crap out of his legs. He gives himself a Charlie horse, and then off they go.
Everybody, every baseball writer in the country spent 2 days writing about who'll pinch hit.
Well, Jim, you did something else, right? On the off day there, didn't you visit Brett Myers and go to?
I did, but that turned out to be controversial, so I'm not getting into that. Some people
Why not?
hated me.
That's the whole point. That's why we do this show.
Huh?
We're big drop the mic guys.
Controversy. What do you guys remember about the cellar? I was thinking about this. I don't really remember much about the post game celebration in the clubhouse. The thing that really jumps out to me was after the game, they're on the field. Charlie's about to talk. Pat Gillick's about to talk. And I remember walking on the field and they're playing We Are the Champions by Queen, and all 48,000 people, or whatever it was, all singing in unison. I was on the field. I'm like, this is pretty cool. That's kind of like the memory that jumps out to me of Game 5 of the World Series.
Quite a moment. I was tracking down my family and some friends and got my whole family back on the field. Got my girls down there, my brother, my mom, and snapped a couple of photos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to enjoy the moment. It was a weird situation for me, though, because I was soon to be the GM of the team. So it was kind of a bit of a surreal moment. Yeah. And a little perplexing and a little consternation going on there, too. But
expound.
It was just, well, I had already sort of negotiated at that point with David Montgomery, and I'd already talked to him about being appointed to that seat. And all I really could think about was like, what were our next steps? I was already sort of formulating all the things that needed to be done as we made the transition from Pat Gillick to me, and our regime. Wasn't going to make a ton of moves, but I did make some. Some things that I wanted to change in the player development department, and some of my some of the leaders in the organization. So we made some fairly significant changes. Added a couple of different assistant GMs. I knew that Mike Arbuckle was likely not to come back, even though he was offered to come back, and understandably so. Wish he kind of would have stayed with us, but I mean, he was going to have a different sort of a role, but I still wanted to have him stay with us because he was so valuable. But we ended up making some pretty significant changes in our player development, and in a lot of ways for the better, I think. Try to continue to, to sort of build on what had been built by Ed and Pat. And we ended up having 3 really phenomenal seasons as a result of it.
Right.
So I was pretty proud of those moments.
Yeah, and you got back to the World Series right away.
Yeah, which I was told what had never ever happened after Pat Gillick had left the team. I mean, basically the teams that Pat Gillick had left or resigned from or what have you pretty much went in a tank immediately. And we did not do that. I kept Pat on as an advisor. I thought that was important. And got a lot of support from David Montgomery and others from the ownership group. And it ended up being, 3 really great years of baseball for the fans and for our city. We just couldn't get past the finish line, and couldn't make the pitches or get the base hits that were necessary to win it.
So I remember about that night was post game. A few of us went into Charlie's office because Charlie didn't really go on the field. He was just kind of chilling out in his office, and Harry the K comes in and congratulates him, and that was just cool to see. And then Dallas Green comes in, and remember Dallas and Charlie had a little tiff at one point.
Oh yeah,
Jim saw it happen.
I witnessed it, and I wrote about it. And
yes.
they both were men, real men, because Dallas knew I saw it, and I asked him about it, and he said, you saw it, and he talked about it. He manned up, and then I went into Charlie's office, and he's like, yeah, you saw it, and he manned up, and it was honestly, it was a tense moment, but it was such a fun story to write. These two big heavyweights battling out behind the batting cage. And what I remember about that day, I was kind of standing there talking to Dallas, because Dallas had been banned from going down on the field. Do you remember? I think Dave Montgomery put him in the penalty box, gave him misconduct, said stay away from the field for a while, because Dallas had scuffed Charlie on the radio. And all of a sudden I see Dallas on the field, and I'm like, what's this all about? He was kind of showing around some friends during BP or something. And he motioned over to Charlie, and Charlie looked at him and came over and gave him a little earful. And there was this woman standing there, and she kind of looked at her husband or her group and said, I think they're fighting. And I'm like, they're fighting. I got to find that story.
It's great, man. That's good stuff. And then, I mean, they became friends after.
Great friends.
They became, and so then in the office, Dallas walks in, and he just congratulates Charlie. And one of us, I can't remember who was all in there. I know Bob Ford was in there from the Inquirer, and we're in there talking to him. And we said, Dallas, what do you think about Charlie when he's taking a lot of heat? And Dallas sang his praises at that point. He's like, hey, there's only 2 SOBs that have ever been in that chair in Philadelphia to win it all. And he did it differently than me, but he did it, and it worked. And so that was a cool moment. Like the only 2 managers in Phillies history together had butted heads, celebrating the moment. And like we are literally the only 2 people in this club, this very, very, very exclusive club in Phillies history. And that was another moment that jumped out at me. That was pretty cool.
You guys both mentioned enjoying the moment. I don't know how, I'm sure Ruben could enjoy the moment, but Todd, I find it very hard to enjoy a moment like that, because you're trying to write and trying to capture the moment. And I find that so stressful trying to deliver in that moment. I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. I just want to get this done and have it be in English.
No, I absolutely. It's super stressful because you want to rise to the occasion and not like write a crappy story, right? And so you definitely want to rise. But that moment walking on the field and seeing everybody sing "We Are the Champions," I was like, this is pretty cool. But after that, I'm like, just don't mess up this story. Just don't. And I almost messed it up. Jimmy, remember how I almost messed it up?
I think you said
I had the wrong score.
Oh my God!
In my copy, I sent it in whatever. I can't remember what the final score was. Was it 5-4 or 4-3?
The editor hooked you up.
Jim Swan, and he knows this. I mention this all the time. He saved my ass. I write the story, but I had the wrong score in.
Oh my God!
Jim Swan called. Now these are keepsake editions of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Jim Swan calls me up and goes, Todd, I just want to know. I want you to know I saved your ass.
Wow!
It was about to go to print, and I noticed the score was wrong in your copy, and I changed it back. I was like, thank God.
You should have bought him a gift certificate at Capitol Grill.
Yeah, wow. Really. Jim, thank you once again. I've told that story before to people, and
he's a great editor.
Jim Swan, all-time great editor, great word guy, along with the late great Robin Smith, two great word people at the Inquirer. So that was another thing that stuck out about that night. But go to shibesports.com/TPS to enter for a chance to win this Phillies prize pack. Like we said, you get a cap, Phillies t-shirt, and an autographed Jimmy Rollins baseball card. And
that Rollins card has got a chance to be really valuable, man. He's got a chance to be in the Hall of Fame. You never know.
Absolutely. So
You never know.
You never know. You never know. So after this,
one
go
more
ahead.
question about that night. I remember walking out like bleary-eyed, like shell-shocked. Was Springsteen playing across the street that night at the arena?
He might have been. Because I think I went to Springsteen. Didn't he play several nights? Because I think I went to it later on, but I'm not sure.
Because I remember seeing like I don't know why that. Maybe it was one of those playoffs. He was over there.
Yeah, I know he was at the ballpark a couple of years ago during the postseason. He came and watched a game.
I saw the Springsteen movie, by the way.
How was that?
I enjoed it. I liked it.
I think the actor's great, man.
Yeah, he is great. I enjoyed it because I knew what the story was going to be about going in, and I mean, it wasn't like hard charging and fast moving, but I thought it was a nice story. I enjoyed it.
All right, there we go. So after these words, Ruben is going to talk a little bit about Parks Casino. We're going to talk some Phillies offseason, a little Phillies offseason cheat sheet. Ruben, what is going on at Parks Casino?
You know, Parks Casino is the #1 casino in Pennsylvania, and it's my casino of choice. They've got it all. Headline entertainment at the Excite Center, happy hour at the Liberty Bell, beer garden, 76ers. They're hot. They're playing great basketball with those youngsters. They have watch parties for the 76ers, the Bamboo Noodle House, the Parks Grill, and the best cover bands. The Bet Parks Sportsbook and beautiful poker room. Plus, Parks Casino is a go-to for birds on game day. I know that they now have a bye, but for next week and all season long, you got to check it out. Every Sunday at noon, every Monday at 6 p.m., the Bet Parks Sportsbook serves up the ultimate Philly fan experience. $1 dogs, $3 Miller Lights, and $5 Peronis for those who are a little hoitier and toitier. Plus, wall-to-wall action on the 150-foot giant sportsbook screens. Bring your crew, get your spot, watch and wager on all the action, and eat and drink like a real Philly sports fan. Tickets are on sale now for a bunch of headliners at the Excite Center. December 5th, Straight No Chaser. December 6th, comedian Ken Young. December 12th, get the Let Out, a Led Zeppelin tribute. ParksCasino.com to buy all tickets for all the shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You must be 21, and if you do have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we are back. The Philly Show is presented by Fox One. So the other day, I do this thing in the Phillies Beat newsletter. I did a little Phillies off-season primer just to kind of get people ready, kind of what you need to know. And I wanted to run through some of this stuff just so people kind of know what's coming, because baseball will be over no later than this weekend. And then the off-season will have officially begun.
Presented.
Exactly. So I'm going to just run through some things that you guys need to know. Phillies free agents, as a recap: Jose Alvarado, although he's got a $9 million club option; Harrison Bader, $10 million mutual option. Then you have Walker Buehler, Max Kepler, Tim Meza, JT Realmuto, David Robertson, Jordan Romano, Kyle Schwarber, Ranger Suarez, and Lou Trevino. Schwarber and Realmuto, the priorities. Bader, number 3 on that list. See it any differently?
Alvarado's probably number 3 on the list for me.
Oh, I mean, right. Take away, yeah. The club
pick up that option. I really do believe they're going to pick up that option. That's a big one.
Sounded that way.
Yeah. I think it needs that extra arm. I know people were upset with them about the PED stuff, but the reality of it is they need some more depth back there, and why not sign him now and have him for 162 at $9 million and kind of go from there, because it's a reasonable number for the kind of quality he can provide.
So then you have there's qualifying offers that can be issued, right? And we expect JT Realmuto cannot be given a qualifying offer because he was offered one in the past when he was a free agent a few years ago. So he cannot get a qualifying offer. We expect Schwarber and Ranger Suarez to get a qualifying offer. It's a 1-year, $22.025 million contract. So for some reason they accept it. They won't.
Interesting that Schwarber did not get a qualifying offer when he was a free agent. Correct?
Yeah, well, he was kind of down at
Oh,
the time.
was he
was
eligible to have? He was eligible to have one, right? Or was he non-tender?
He was non-tendered.
He was non-tendered.
Aha.
Exactly. So Schwarber and Suarez. So if they, for some reason, would just accept it, they would be a signed player of $22.025 million for next season. If they reject it, which they will, because they're going to get multi-year deals, the Phillies would receive a compensation pick after the 4th round of the 2026 draft. That's because they're paying that big competitive balance tax, the luxury tax. Qualifying offers can be made through the 5th day after the World Series. A player has until 4 p.m. Eastern on November 18th to accept it. So mark that in your calendar, guys. 4
I bet it's a Friday night, right?
It always is a Friday night. Every deadline that baseball has, it's always 5 o'clock. Friday
It ruins
night.
your weekend.
It ruins your weekend, exactly. Why can't we do anything? Well, I have to wait for the non-tender deadline to pass around so I can write that story. Okay, so we talked about the options. Jose Alvarado has a $9 million club option. Harrison Bader has a $10 million mutual option.
I think the Phillies will pick up both of those, to be honest with you, because but Bader's going to probably decline his, and Alvarado doesn't have that option.
Yeah, Alvarado doesn't have the option. I asked our crew at MLB.com to look for the last time both sides have picked up a mutual option. And according to them, there's been no mutual option picked up. This is hard to believe. Since Aramis Ramirez and the Brewers in November of 2014, that was the last time a mutual option has been exercised.
It's insane.
Aramis Ramirez, he always.
I almost signed him.
It's funny. I'm gonna
almost signed him instead of Jimmy Rollins.
That's right.
Really, I've always thought he was underrated. Every time I looked up, he had like 45 doubles. He was a good good offensive player.
So we
tell me more about signing him other than Jimmy Rollins. That was when Jimmy became the free agent.
I think that was the 1 year the Brewers are running around on Jimmy.
Yeah, they were the only team in.
We were both running around on the same players.
That's right.
Who would you put at short then? Freddie
Galvis. Absolutely. Freddie was ready.
Freddie's a good shortstop. The deadline for players and teams to make their 2026 option decisions is 5 days after the end of the World Series. So you have that. Salary arbitration players for the Phillies: Tanner Banks, Alec Boehm, Joan Duran, Jesus Luzardo, Rafael Marchand, Brandon Marsh, Edmundo Sosa, Bryson Stott, and Garrett Stubbs. Non-tender guys, maybe Garrett Stubbs, right? Last
non-tenders are Marsh, Stott, and Stubbs. Those are threatened non-tenders. In other words, we might non-tender you unless you sign a deal before the. I don't think they'll hold out.
They ain't gonna non-tender Stott.
I don't think they will, and I don't think they're going to start non-tender Marsh. But they might be able to get deals done with them before the deadline, maybe.
Last year they agreed to deals. So what a lot of times do, what teams do a lot of times is, if they don't like the salary arbitration projections or whatever, they will negotiate something with the player and settle on a contract right before the deadline. So they did that last year with Jose Ruiz, remember him, and Garrett Stubbs. They agreed to 1 year deals the day of the tender deadline. And the tender deadline this year is November 21st. Again, probably a Friday. I don't know.
I went through that one time. I had that great year in 1996. I hit like 380 as a pinch hitter or something like that. Hit 333 for the season. And I was arbitration eligible. I had more than 3 years. And the Phillies threatened a non-tender. And I told my agent, just sign a deal. I want to stay with the Phillies. And I ended up signing a minor league deal. Like a dumbass, because it was the only time I had any kind of leverage at all, but I wanted to stay with the Phillies, and the Phillies would only – Ed Wade was being a hard ass on me.
That's right. I remember that. I remember you were. I
was thinking about going to a different team. I mean, I had I knew that like the Atlanta Braves and the Montreal Expos and some other teams were really interested in having me in Pittsburgh, some other teams. But I wanted to stay with the Phillies, and we ended up doing a minor league deal instead of a major league deal. And my agent was like, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "Because I want to be a Philly."
I remember in the spring of '97, you had to really scratch and claw to make the team, and I think you made it like on the last. They announced it like the last couple days of camp down at Jack Russell.
Yep, I was regretting it for a while.
November 21st, Jim, is a Friday.
It ended up springboarding me to being the GM of the Phillies later on.
It did.
There you go. It worked out. It worked out.
Pretty good long-term decision.
So then November 18th, the Phillies have to protect players from the Rule 5 draft. That's another deadline. That's not a Friday. But they have some options. Stone Cold Mortal Lock, as some people might say, Andrew Painter. He'll be protected from the Rule 5 draft.
Stone Cold.
Yeah. And then some other guys to keep an eye on. Gabriel Rincones Jr.
Definitely.
Dave Dombrowski talked about him a couple weeks ago as playing a role on the 2026 Phillies. So I would expect him to be protected from the Rule 5. If you're talking about him contributing, you wouldn't risk losing him. And, he can crush right-handed pitching. So, I would think some team would take him. If the Phillies don't protect him, Gabriel.
The Minnesota Twins will take him. The Minnesota Twins have lost their entire team.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Which leads me to this question. They've checked out, right? The Minnesota Twins. Do you think Byron Buxton would reconsider his
really interesting
his stance on not on invoking his no trade clause because he wants to stay in Minnesota? Because that's a right-handed bat.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, you would hope that a guy who was a competitive. You're right, Jim.
Great contract. He would zoom to the top of my list if I were the Phillies, if he would reconsider.
Yeah, and I would actually move a major league player or two for him.
Great contract.
Rob Peter to pay Paul, like if a Stott Marsh combination or something like that, minor league, Rincones and Marsh, something like a deal like that where you give up a really strong piece or two, maybe one of them from your major league team that's under control.
So you take the risk of the health. You take the risk of the health history with him. I mean, remember last offseason we were talking about him. We're like, no shot. The guy's hurt all the time. He had a good year this year, though. He stayed healthy.
Yeah, particularly. I mean, if you sign Schwarber back, you can put Schwarber in left field every once in a while and have Buxton be a DH because he DH'd a lot to get him off his legs.
I just would think about it.
Oh, I would definitely.
And if I were Byron Buxton, I would think about, you're going to probably finish in last place and, then go ice fishing. I'd rather come to Philadelphia and compete for a flag.
Yeah, it tells me a little bit about the guy. Maybe he didn't want to do it in season, but perhaps out of season. I mean, it's a great call, Jim, because that's the type of player, if you really want to change things up in the dynamic of your team. I mean, you talk about protection from the right side.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, that's the guy. That's the guy. Now you got Turner and Buxton, two righties. I mean, it's a good call, Jim.
Hey, Todd, you can talk to him about the Gophers.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You
Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah. Paul Molitor, eh? All right. So other guys. What's
I played with a guy named Beaver Brewitt way back when who played for the.
Yeah, I remember him. Big time Minnesota star player. Other guys eligible for the Rule 5. Not all these guys are going to be protected, but some names to kind of keep an eye on. A couple right-handers, Alex McFarland, who's their number 20 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, at least. I don't know where he is on Baseball America's list. Griff McGarry, possibly. And then some other names just to mention. Andrew Baker, remember him for a couple of years ago? He might get some interest. A hard-throwing guy. I mean, he kind of fell off the face of the earth, and then he's kind of worked his way back. These guys are probably unlikely, but you never know if a team's looking for a bat. Felix Reyes, he was the Eastern League Player of the Year, and then Caleb Ricketts, catcher. Probably not. But I wanted to mention those guys. So
Griff McGarry, wasn't he?
Miller and Crawford don't need to be protected. or they're already protected?
Crawford does not. Who'd you say? Painter? Painter does need to be
No,
protected.
Miller.
He does not need to be protected yet.
Yeah,
no.
so I mean that's one of the reasons why they won't be on. They'll come to the big league camp, and in some cases may make the team, but they're not going to be protected on the 40-man, at least for now.
Right. So Painter for sure will be. I would say again Raconis, and then you can look at McFarland. McGarry is interesting. I mean,
he was predicted to be number 1 pick last year.
some people were talking about that. Exactly right, Jim. Did not happen though. He wasn't throwing strikes coming out of last season, so that would have been a little bit. But maybe now this year, you take a shot at him as a relief pitcher. So you never know. You never know. We're gonna have another show on Friday. We might be talking a little Arizona Fall League. We might be talking to Phillies number 1 draft pick Dante Nori, talking about the Fall League and just kind of his development and whatnot. And then next week, after the World Series is over, we're gonna really dig in to the Phillies offseason, looking at some free agents, hot stove, baby, a little hot stove action,
in the jungle.
Byron Buxton and more trade possibilities.
Ooh.
And looking at some Phillies prospects and whatnot. So definitely check out Friday's show. Check out all of our shows next week as the off season begins. So hope that little primer, little cheat sheet helps you guys out. Mark down your calendars, November 21st, the non-tender deadline, everybody.
Friday night.
I'll be at home waiting for the list.
Us losers will be home.
Yes, exactly.
Ruben will be out gallivanting at some cocktail party or something.
That's probably true. I'll be doing my cigar dance.
He's an A-list celeb.
Okay.
Not me. I'll be sitting at home like going, did they agree to a 1-year deal with Stubbs before the deadline? That's my life. That's my life in the off season. So, all right, guys, we will be back later this week.
Smell you later, boys.
How are you, James?
The Philly Show is brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Subscribe to The Philly Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.